And maybe when you have childhood cancer, that crystallizes for you. And I hope he has a long life as a law enforcement officer. But I hope he never has to defend the United States Capitol against Donald Trump supporters. And if he does, I hope he isn't one of the 6 who loses his life to suicide. And I hope he isn't one who has to testify against the people who carried out acts of seditious conspiracy and then live to see Donald Trump pardon those people.
Oh, wow. Just wow. Nicole Wallace, ladies and gentlemen, taking a 13-year-old with brain cancer and somehow twisting it into a January 6th rant. Now, thank goodness we have people like Karoline as the White House press secretary to go after these people, but this is peak mainstream media insanity. And by the way, if you're tired of these media hacks getting away with garbage like this, make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, and share this video. But did you notice the disgusting way she frames this? She's basically saying, oh, I hope this poor kid doesn't grow up to be a cop who has to deal with those people, you know, the half of America that she openly hates. And then she brings up suicides, when we all know the media couldn't care less about law enforcement until they can use them as political props. This is MSNBC, folks. This is the state of the mainstream media. Nothing is off limits, not even a kid with cancer. But please, tell me more about how Trump is the one who's divisive. But you know who wasn't about to let this garbage slide? Karoline Leavitt. And folks, she went off.
And as President Trump asked in his speech last night, how could anyone possibly be opposed to any of this action that he is taking? Well, apparently, the modern-day Democrat Party could. The behavior of Democrats last night was completely disgraceful and demonstrated how severely out of touch they are with the American public. It was the most shameful moment in the history of presidential addresses in that beautiful chamber. In what was supposed to be a unifying moment for our country, Democrat members of Congress instead screamed at the President of the United States, who was just overwhelmingly reelected by their constituents, walked out of the chamber, and worst of all, they disrespected the American people. Democrats didn't stand to keep men out of women's sports. They couldn't even clap for a girl who got her head smashed in by a man on a volleyball court. Democrats didn't stand for an innocent and beautiful child who is surviving brain cancer. They opposed eliminating taxes on tips and Social Security. They didn't stand in favor of cutting taxes for hardworking Americans. They couldn't even clap for 2 mothers whose daughters were killed by illegal aliens. One of the only things that could get Democrats off their feet last night was cheering for Ukraine, not for America. Last night was a very clarifying moment for our country. The Democrats exposed themselves as the party of insanity and hate, the party that wants to put America last. They've allowed their Trump derangement syndrome to stop them from celebrating America and our people. And we will not allow them to forget that. And it's not just the Democrat Party. The mainstream media still doesn't get it. Last night, MSNBC's Nicole Wallace disgustingly looped in a 13-year-old boy with brain cancer into an attack on the president over...
Yes, this is exactly what needs to happen every single time these media hacks open their mouths. Call them out on the spot, name the game they're playing, because let's be real. Nicole Wallace is a DNC talking points machine who would rather attack a child with cancer than admit Trump is actually doing good for this country. And the Democrats could not have embarrassed themselves more if they tried. Imagine being so bitter and broken inside that you can't even clap for a child fighting brain cancer. Let that sink in. A little boy literally battling for his life, and these people sit there like statues because, what, it might make Trump look good? Karoline is not wrong. Last night was a moment of clarity. The mask is off. The Democrat Party hates Trump, and if that means they need to hate our country to make Trump look bad, they will do it. And if you support President Trump, they don't like you. They hate everything that makes America strong, and their Trump derangement syndrome is so bad, they'd rather sit on their hands than acknowledge basic human decency. But we're not done yet, because Karoline isn't just taking on the Democrats. She's coming for the fake news media, too. And trust me, it's beautiful. Let's roll the rest of her response.
January 6th. And CNN's first chyron out of the speech called it divisive. President Trump wasn't divisive. The Democrats were. And CNN was proven wrong by their own viewers, 69% of whom, in a post-speech poll, said they had a positive reaction to the president's speech. It's sad and frankly pathetic that Democrats and liberals in the legacy media continue to allow their hatred for the president to override their love for our country. But nevertheless, the president will continue to unify this nation through policies that are grounded in common sense and that uplift all Americans. We have an individual in our new media seat today, Mary Margaret Olohan, who is the Daily Wire's first ever White House correspondent. Congratulations, Mary Margaret. The Daily Wire was founded 10 years ago by Ben Shapiro. The Daily Wire now has over 1 million paid subscribers, a monthly network reach of 138 million, and has evolved into a leading conservative multimedia giant. They are now the 5th largest podcast network in the world and home to some of the top-ranked shows.
Oh, look at that. CNN immediately goes into damage control, calling the speech divisive. That's rich, coming from the network that spent 4 years screaming about Russia collusion and pushing every fake scandal under the sun. And the best part? Their own audience didn't even buy it. 69% of viewers said they loved Trump's speech. Let's just pause on that. CNN viewers. Not exactly a MAGA rally, right? So what do? Ignore their own poll and keep lying? Because that's the game. The media isn't about the truth. They're about protecting the regime. If Trump cures cancer tomorrow, CNN would run a segment about how he's stealing jobs from oncologists. And Karoline nails it again. This isn't about policy. It's about hatred. The left is so brain poisoned by Trump derangement syndrome, they'd rather burn the country down than admit he's doing anything right. It's pathetic. But here's the thing. They're losing. Trump is crushing it. The movement is bigger than ever. Even the media can't spin their way out of this one, and Karoline just handed them another L. And that's why they're panicking. They can't spin this, they can't lie their way out of it, and they definitely can't handle the fact that Trump is winning. But we're not going to let them get away with it. We see the lies, we see the hypocrisy, and we're calling it out every single time. So if you're fired up, make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell so you never miss when we drop a new video exposing the nonsense. And also let me know, do you think Karoline is doing a good job as the press secretary? What would you grade her? 1 out of 10, with 1 being the worst and 10 being the best? Let me know in the comments below. With that being said, see you in the next one.